Hey, Franklin.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Doing well. You're going to make it today. Great.
Yeah, I don't usually. I've been had things going on Wednesdays, so it makes it rough. But I'm home today, so I'm good.
Excellent.
Thank you for doing these. These are great.
You
I
bet.
watch them afterwards,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, it's really cool. Really cool when you can do them. You've done such a wonderful job at it. I really appreciate it. I think it's great.
Thanks. Hopefully, some people learn something. I know I learned things putting them together.
I know that's what when you teach, you learn, don't you? And that's
Oh,
really
I do.
cool. Yeah, I noticed that I do. I've been doing some docent stuff, docent kind of stuff, and I can't believe how much I can learn. You know,
Yeah.
and then you can retain it that way, right? Because
Yep.
if you just read it in a book, you don't it doesn't stay in my brain anymore. So
Yep, I always learn something when I listen to Mike. I'll tell you that much.
My kids don't. Last thing they want to do is listen to Mike.
Well, I know. My name's Mike too, and I got the same deal.
it just doesn't happen to Mike's, so that's good. Wow,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's everybody.
for sure.
Speaking of phones, I got to go plug mine in. I'll be back in a minute.
You can't have a dead phone for this one.
What are you an Apple person or are you a Android
I,
person?
I'm an Android guy,
Oh, I see.
so it's going to make it hard for all the Apple people because I don't know the Apple apps.
It's like speaking two different languages.
It is.
I have to switch my brain when I pick up the Android. It's like, okay, got to push this button and that button, not like that I'm used to. So, but yeah, I use both of them, so it makes it makes it hard. You got to rethink it again. But then again, that way you keep it fresh, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I got inspired by this topic by a video series that I watch. Actually, it's kind of funny. My wife and I both watch a YouTube video called My Mate Vince. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, it's the English one, or
I, yeah, yeah, he's amazing. He does repair videos and he repairs just all kinds of things. He's really entertaining. He doesn't have an electronics background, but he figures things out. Um, and he actually fix things, he goes in depth. Like if a switch is bad, he'll dismantle the whole switch trying to figure it out. And it's kind of but he presents it in a way that's just really, really cool. And my wife Rosemary and I watch it out a lot of times at night. And um, I told her she can now start fixing everything because she goes, "Oh, it's probably a bad capacitor. Oh, look there."
That's cool.
Nice.
No, I take things apart to see how they work too, and I can never get them back together again.
Yeah.
My only problem.
Yeah, if you get a chance, watch his videos. He's really entertaining. I started watching it this last year. He did a Christmas series. He bought a pallet of Amazon rejects, and then he fixed one item a day throughout the Christmas season. It was his Advent repair videos, and they were really good.
What kind of stuff did he fix? Was it
Oh, everything from heaters to hair dryers to vacuums, just all kinds of stuff. But he fixes pretty much everything. Yeah, if you get a chance, watch his videos.
yeah,
They're
will do.
really entertaining. But he did something to check a fuse that I said that can't work, and sure enough, it did. So it kind of inspired me to do this one.
Well, that's cool.
So we'll hopefully get a few more people here. It's just starting to be time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake.
Hey.
Oh, there's Franklin.
And we got Larry. Hi, Larry. And I see Jim over there. And Brian. Cool.
Hi.
How you doing, Brian?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, and Myron too.
Yep, Myron's here.
May while we're waiting, I'll show you guys the new clock I made.
Oh, table. That's cool.
Nice.
I knew those record players were good for something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because they're not much good for anything else. But yeah, I just kind of glued a record on it and put a Clockworks in the back.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
What made you think of that, Mike?
Oh, I'm always making clocks and lamps out of stuff.
I saw one today where they took the timer out of those little clock mechanisms and put a blue and red LED on it, and it flashes. It flashes like every second, right? So, and it alternates the flashes, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like kind of looks like a miniature, strobe light of a cop car, right? Where they have the red and black. They kind of like doubles flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I picked up that record player at a estate sale. I think it was $1 or something. It was in the, or maybe that was in the free bin. And I thought, oh, I wonder if that, if I could make a clock out of it. And I pulled all the guts out and it worked out really good. So let's see, we got 8 people here.
9 now.
Oh yeah, Tom just joined.
Tom's phone.
So I was mentioning before that there's a video series, a YouTube video called My Mate Vince. I put it in the chat. And that's kind of what inspired me to do this one, due to one of the things he was doing. But if you get a chance to watch his videos, I think you'll really enjoy him. He's pretty darn amazing, especially at micro soldering. But he does all kinds of stuff, and he's all self-taught, doesn't have a lot of electronic knowledge. And so a lot of times I'm screaming at the television, no, it's not that way. That's not why you do that. But yeah, he actually inspired me to do this when he mentioned something that I'll be talking about here, and found out it really worked. And I thought, darn, I got to remember that. And I've actually used it. So, but I don't know. Are we ready to get started?
Yeah, we're probably ready.
Okay, let me do a share here. So I'm actually I'm gonna see how this works. I'm gonna try to switch cameras and show some stuff on my phone also. But as I was mentioning, there's actually a lot of things you can do with your phone that helps in repair. It's really kind of amazing, especially with all the sensors and stuff built into the phones these days. There's some phenomenal things. I mean, normally you think, well, I can maybe look something up or use the calculator, but there's a lot more available out there that can really take advantage of the camera, the microphone, the speaker, internet connectivity. There's just all kinds of really cool apps. And this is one I was going to demonstrate. This is the one I saw in the YouTube video. And that is what you do is if you, oops, I think, did I screw that up? Can you guys still see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, there it is. What you do is you just hold one end of the fuse and you touch it to a keypad. I recommend the calculator rather than the dialer because you never know who you're going to get. And if the fuse is not blown, it'll actually work as a key press. There's if you have an Apple phone, there's actually a thing called Easy Fuse Tester that makes it even easier. I just open up my calculator and use it that way. Let's see, let me stop sharing for a second. And then let's see if I can switch cameras. So I'm just going to go into my calculator here. Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you watch the number up here, if I have this fuse and I'm going to hit the 8 button and nothing happens, but if I have a good fuse and I push it, it'll actually work. So, it's a great way if you're out and you want to test a fuse really quick. You can just pull up your phone and just hold on to the end of the fuse like that, and then just push straight down, and it will actually test your phone or test the fuse. It does not work with the like the car fuses, the spade type fuses, but it will work for other types, which is, I thought, really cool. And I was in the field needing to test a fuse, and I just whipped out my phone really quick because it was actually easier to do than trying to hold meter leads across it. So it's I thought that was really cool. It works because basically the way the phone works is through a capacitive detection, a difference in capacitance, and as long as the fuse is connected, it will still pass that capacitive difference down to the phone. So it really does work. And I've tried it with ceramic fuses as well as wire fuses, slow blows. They all seem to work, which I thought was really cool. No excuse not to be able to test a fuse anymore.
Mhm.
Cool.
Another thing is, that your light actually has a lot of different capabilities. You can use the light in your camera as an inspection tool. And there's actually an app on most phones called Screen Light. And if you push that one, I don't know if you can still see mine, but it turns your whole screen white. And that actually works really good for a very large work light that doesn't produce the same kind of shadows. So, you can either use just your camera light, or you can use, if you do a full screen, it'll do a full screen white light for you. And there's some apps out there that'll do that. The one I used, I'm unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I'm Android. Unfortunately for you, if you're Apple, I don't always have the Apple apps. I apologize. But for the Android, it's called Screen Flashlight. And it's actually pretty useful. It's I found it sometimes nicer than actually having the light.
Yeah, the app for Apple does have a Screenlight app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And your Apple
Yeah.
Watch will do that too. You could turn your Apple Watch to a screen light and it'll light up.
Oh, cool. There's another one you can use. There's one called Strobe Light that is a tachometer. And so if you've got a flashing light or something like that and you want to know what the frequency is, you can actually measure the light that way. And then there's also a couple apps out there that'll measure luminescence if that's something you need to do. You don't always think about all these things, but the phone has so many of these things that it's kind of hard to remember them all. Now, of course, the camera is probably one of the biggest wins. I use it constantly for documentation. My camera, unfortunately, it's tied to our cloud that shows up on our all of our cloud devices in the house. And so, it's popping up pictures of the family once in a while. Most of the time it's popping up pictures of inside radios and test equipment and phonographs and all this stuff as I'm working on it. I'll take 10 or 15 pictures because, it never fails. Oh, I'll just remove this wire. I know where it goes. And within 10 seconds, you don't know where that wire goes, and having to trace it down again. So, I'm sure you guys do too. I take lots and lots of pictures. My biggest problem is remembering delete the pictures after I fix the darn thing. But that is really huge, being able to photograph. Also, I recommend trying it from different directions because every once in a while you're going to be looking at it and go, I can't really tell. And if you have a second direction, that can help you figure out what's going on. That's really useful. A lot of times I'll take pictures as I'm disassembling things. And if I'm working on something, taking a good picture of like the resistors and stuff. I had one instance recently to where I got it from someone else that they had burned up 3 or 4 resistors and we didn't know what the values were. And unfortunately, he did not take pictures ahead of time, but I always try to take pictures of those. So if something goes wrong, something overheats, I'll have a better chance of, finding out what it was. So, documenting as you take things apart, really useful. The camera is a magnifier. I do this all the time. Maybe it's because I'm getting old, but boy, being able to read a lot of stuff is so hard. Using that camera as a magnifier is really useful. Another thing is a lot of the camera or the phones these days have cameras that face forward as well as back, so you can take a picture of your face. And I don't know if you've thought about this, but that's really useful. And I do that quite a bit when I'm working inside of a cabinet or something like that, and I want to look back. I'll change the camera to be a face forwarding camera, and then I can hold it inside the unit. I can still see the screen and move around and see what's going on. So that's really, really helpful. Otherwise what you're doing is you're down underneath trying to take pictures and then you pull it out and you go, oh no, I missed it again. Just change the camera around the other direction. And then you can actually watch the screen real time. I find that very helpful. Does anybody else do that?
Oh yeah, do that all the time.
Yeah, it's almost a daily occurrence, right?
Yeah.
And another one is obviously zooming in to identify part numbers. Really, really helpful. I do that all the time. And in fact, I'm going to demonstrate it here in a minute. On the Android phones, we have a way to grab the information on that stuff very, very fast. And I'll show you how I do that. I don't think you can do it on an Apple phone, but on an Android you can. A couple other things is measuring the frequency. There's a flashing lights. There's a Android app called Flash that acts as an RPM meter. And then detecting IR light. I'm sure probably everybody knows about this. Cameras are kind of cool because they don't restrict the input light coming in. they will show you everything. And so IR frequencies from remote controls, things like that, will actually be seen because the camera doesn't do anything to block those. And so I do this all the time. If the remote looks like it's bad, I'll just hold my camera up to it, and then I'll push the buttons, and I can see the IR light. Very, very helpful. I've fixed many things that way, identifying that the IR light is either bad or the batteries are dead, something like that. I fixed a drone once that had a IR activation, and I was able to see that the IR light was not working. I did it in about 2 minutes, identified what the problem is.
I have sort of this opposite effect that I experience every day. I have a IR repeater on top of our cabinet in our family room, and it has an LED that whenever it receives any RI signal, the LED flashes.
Oh,
And then it repeats to all the equipment underneath and inside the cabinet. So when you walk into the room and you have your phone, and the phone is looking at your face, that light just goes crazy because
oh, really?
it's scanning your face, trying to figure out, are you allowed to look at the phone and all that stuff. So it's constantly blinking whenever somebody raises a phone. It's pretty funny to me, anyway.
Let's see. I'm going to show this next one here. Are you guys able to see my phone?
Yeah.
So one of the other cool things that I found out while researching this is most of your cameras have the ability, if you go in and look, you can turn on slow-mo mode. And if you can set it to 240 frames per second, or, as slow as you can get it, you can actually see, and this is an example, I'll play it here. This is in slow motion. I can actually see the 60 cycles on an incandescent bulb. You can, I think, hopefully you can see it flashing there.
Yes.
So that's actually 120 cycles, right? Because you're seeing it come on the high and then on the negative. So, but it's really cool. Now, how could you use something like this? One thing that is really useful, especially if you've got like a mechanical movement, say you're working on a record changer or something like that, and something is sticky. It's not always obvious to see in just viewing the thing as it's hanging up or whatever. But if you turn it on the slow motion video and take it, it can very possibly show up very obvious where the problem is. You're going to see that thing, and you might see the lever arm jump or something like that you weren't expecting, that you couldn't see yourself. So, if you've got any mechanical issues that are having a problem, this can be really useful. It may not be obvious to the naked eye, but once you slow it down, you're going to be able to watch that gear slip or something like that. So, and I thought it was really cool. I could actually see the light flicker. That's pretty darn good.
I'm skeptical about that
Okay.
because the time constant of the filament is so much longer. I mean, when you turn a light off, you can see it decay down, right?
Yes.
On the order of half a second, say. So
And
how could you possibly see something at 60 hertz or 120 hertz?
So I actually had to, I had the problem initially, I couldn't see it. And then what I did is I put it on a variac and I reduced the voltage to where I could get it to where it would see more of the on and the off.
Oh, so you cheated.
But yeah, and I tried it at higher frames per second. I could actually see it. I tried a couple different things because I was wondering the same thing, if that's what I was actually seeing. And I'm very confident that it is. In fact, I put it on some other things to where I could, I put it on some LEDs and, put it through my frequency generator, and I was able to see it.
Well, LEDs, I believe.
Right.
Incandescent, I'm skeptical. So
Uh,
why don't you put a light bulb on a DC power source and see if it still works?
I put, I tried it with an LED bulb and
Well,
it
I
did not,
believe that.
well, it didn't show flickering. I didn't do it on DC. I could have done it on a DC. But
I,
anything else I tried didn't show a flicker.
How
well, I
about
mean, LEDs are fast enough, but heated, black bodies, I don't believe it.
Okay, I accept that. Like I say, I did have to dim it down on the Variac because I couldn't see it when it was at full brightness because I don't think it cooled off enough. But once I dimmed it down, I could start seeing it.
Mike, have you tried a fluorescent tube?
I didn't try the fluorescent tube. I got rid of all my fluorescent tubes.
Yeah, those are going to be 120 hertz and quite easy to see.
Yeah, those are,
Yeah,
I think,
they're
aren't they?
thicker.
But whether you believe my light bulb thing or not, it's still useful for mechanical things. I don't think there's a lot of use at looking at a 60 hertz light bulb, but the concept of being able to take advantage of slow motion to be able to identify mechanical difficulties is really useful.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. I don't want to put that down.
but I actually tried calculating the frame rate, which got to be really confusing, and it did show up to be 120 hertz. But boy, don't try to do that because there's all kinds of weird stuff on the way the frame rate works and all that. It was really confusing. I think I wasted at least an hour and a half doing that. It was not worth it.
And Mike, I was going to tell you that Apple does have that where you can read text, or it will read live text, so it will zoom it in and put the text where you can copy it. The same as Android. Yeah, just to let you know, they both have that capability.
Excellent. Yeah, here's how you do it on a Google phone. For some reason, most people don't know this. Let me just take a picture here real quick. So if you guys can see my phone still?
Yep.
Actually, I still have it shared. You still have that the camera Google Lens shared, so I can't enlarge it.
Oh, okay. Let me exit out of.
Can you guys enlarge it? I don't think you can. Can you? Are you looking at it the gallery view?
Yeah, I think from here, if you go back to like speaker view, you should be able to see things pretty clearly. Just as long as Mike is the one talking instead of me.
Okay, so the way you do this is once you have a picture, and you don't actually have to take the picture with the Android phone, as long as your camera is there, and you go down to the square box down here, and if you just press and hold the square box, it will change it, it'll freeze it, and then you just draw a circle around it, and then it pops up and tells you what it is.
Is that Lens then? Is that what you call it? The Google Lens?
I don't know if it's using Google Lens or not. It's just the way the Google has set it up to where it's doing the lens type of thing, but they made it really easy by just, as long as you have any picture on there, you just click the little square button and you push and hold the square button at the bottom, and then just circle what you want, and then it does the Google Lens thing for you. Again, I'm not sure if they're actually using Google Lens, but that makes it really, really nice, because you're not having to go to another program or anything. You just point your camera, push and hold, circle it, and then you're up and running. How does it work with the Apple phone?
So the Apple phone, once you know, on text or anything like that, if you put it on text, and then it will enlarge the text, and then you can. So there's a on your photograph. There's like a little square box with a bunch of lines on it, like a text. You push on that button, it will zoom in and it'll grab the text and then it'll enlarge it, and then from there on you can do whatever you want with it. You can search for whatever it is, like kind of thing. So that's how that works. I think, yeah, so it's a little different, but
Yeah.
you don't have to circle it like that, but it actually doesn't. I mean, once you got that, then you can go into Google Lens, or you can go into some kind of search engine, or even anything to actually bring it up.
Right. And the way this one works on the Android phone is, once it identifies what it is, and usually it's correct or pretty close, it pops up a web page just like you were Googling that thing.
Yeah, that like Google Lens, exactly. That looks pretty cool, for sure.
I find it really helpful. I'm circling things all the time.
That makes it easy because actually you can cut out stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. Because otherwise you get into the problem that, unless your picture is perfect, you're getting all kinds of weird stuff going, no, I didn't want that part. Okay.
For sure, it's finding other things in the background that you don't really need.
Google Lens has a square you can put the thing in the square.
Right. Yeah, and this is just kind of a fast way of doing it, instead of going into Google Lens. But it's a great shortcut, I found. And if anyone finds, a similar thing in Apple, I had another friend that was looking for one. When they saw what I did, they go, "How can I do that?" And I go, "Well, I don't know. You got the wrong kind of phone."
On Apple, on any photograph that has any text in it, if you just hold your finger over the text, it'll select it, and then you can expand the selection, just like
Okay.
in a text document.
So with the microphone, there's a couple, and I've got a list of a bunch of the apps out there, but you can do things like measuring frequency, spectrum analyzer. Here's now again, the frequencies are typically with the audio spectrum and limited to the quality of the microphone, but there's like frequency C. If you can see the video, it's showing voice. If I clap my hands or woo, whatever, it'll show you what the frequencies are. Let's see. Another good one is Spectroid, and this one's more of a spectrum analyzer type thing for audio frequencies, and that can be useful. If you've got a hum in a radio, you can actually use something like this and actually see if it's 60 hertz or 120 or whatever. Let's see. Unfortunately, a lot of phones, and I blame Apple for this, they've removed the audio output jack, which is so useful. For the headphone jack, but the audio still exists in digital, and it's there on your USB and Lightning ports. So all you really need, if you want to treat this as a signal generator for an audio signal generator, you just need a USB to RCA adapter, and I've got one here. I'll show you. But it will automatically, let's see, I can actually put it here. It looks like this. It's got RCA jacks on one side and the USB-C on the other side. And then I think it's in this box here, there's actually a DAC, a digital to analog converter. And so it generates the audio for you, just like you would. These things are really inexpensive. They're like, $15 or something like that. And it'll it'll work that way. And then you can have something like a audio generator app. Let's see, I've got one here. You know, like this, without ads. I'm too cheap. I'm not willing to pay for anything.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Uh, yeah, so here's a tone generator app, and I can, pick what tone I want, and it'll come out on that cable that I could then feed in. I played around with this. You're not going to get to be able to drive a speaker, but you definitely can feed it into a line input. So it is a way to create an audio if you want. And I have to warn you, it's not always the easiest thing to do because I ran into problems. I thought, oh, I can just plug this in and work. Well, I had to go through and do some. I can't even remember all the stuff I did, but I finally got it to come out from the media. But it took a couple tries. It just wasn't automatic. Oh, Brian has a Spectrum Analyzer there also, right?
Yep. I just downloaded it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and they're pretty cool and they actually work pretty well. It's quite amazing in the audio spectrum. You can see it. And of course, the nice thing about doing this is you can either create a tone generator or you can output music. So if you're testing a radio or something like that, you could use your phone as an audio generator. Another way to do it is you can stream this to a Bluetooth to RCA type adapter also, if you don't want to connect directly to your phone, which may actually be a better way to go because it'll isolate your phone from anything. But that's, it's very, very, very valuable if you want to generate music or tones very quickly. You can just use your phone to do that if you don't have a audio generator. Another thing you can do is there's a record RPM app. I use this all the time for testing turntables. You just turn on, let's see, let me go back. I'll go to mine here. And then when you start it, as it spins, it keeps the rotation value always visible to you. And you just set it on your turntable and it'll tell you what the speed of your turntable is. And it'll also measure wow and flutter and stuff like that. I've tried it on everything up to a 78. I get a little worried on the 78. I don't want my phone flying across the room, but definitely 33, even 45, it works really well. Incredibly accurate and useful and really fun to use. You just hit it and hear it. It showed what the speeds were, came up with a graph, and you probably don't want to use it on your lathe or something like that. But for turntables, it works really good. Maybe keep the speed under about 80 RPMs.
Detect any wow or flutter in the motor?
Yeah, it'll do that. It'll show you if there's any deviations going on, which can be really useful.
Yeah.
Some other things that you can do is, you've got all these gyroscopes, accelerometers, magnetometers in there. You can use it to detect vibrations if you've got problems with motors, things like that. You can use it as a level or tilt sensor if you're trying to level something. All those things can actually really come into play, and you may not think about it. You might be just, oh, I got to go to the garage and get a level, or you could just use your phone.
Oh yeah, I use my level on my phone quite a bit. And
of course, there's the standard stopwatches and things like that. There's even some acoustic stopwatches that'll measure time between strobes. And then here's a list of a whole bunch of apps that I've found to be useful. Let's see if I go back to mine. One I really like, and I've been using quite a bit, is this component pinout. I think it's called electronic component pinouts. And it's really cool. You just do a search like 2N222 2, and then pops up all your options. You click it and it shows you your pinouts and gives you links to go find data sheets and stuff. I've always done it on my computer. You know, I'd go over and pull down a data sheet or something, but having this local, you know, is just so easy. I've been using this more and more for finding electronic pinouts, which has been great. There's another one. Called Toolbox that I really like. This has all kinds of different additional apps. There's two of them, Toolbox and this, I'm not even going to pronounce it. This one here. Both of those basically give you access to all your sensors. And what's cool about Toolbox is it's got like a decibel meter, magnet detector, an altimeter, a luminometer, you know, do unit conversions. It's got the flashlight thing in it. There's a lot of stuff that you would not really even think about that's in here. So, you know, it's kind of like an all-in-one place that's found different uses. I mean, you can use these as stud finders with the magnetometer in there, just run it across your stud and look for nails. But this is really useful, just finding, you know, something like Toolbox on the Android. It was made by this company. I don't know if Android has the similar one. They have a paid version too, but the free version has everything I ever wanted. There's a couple I played around with resistor scanners. You can take a pic, show your camera on the resistor, and it'll come back and tell you what the value is. I played around with it because I was kind of curious how it worked on some of the high band, you know, like the 5-band newer resistors and stuff that are really hard to decode. And I found it okay-ish, but not always accurate. On the simple 3-band and stuff, it worked great, but on the other ones that it didn't do as well.
Nice if it worked on the old resistors that have the whatever they're called, the body code with the end code and a little dot on it. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I didn't see any that were made for those.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
One I do like for resistors is this series and parallel. What I like with parallel resistors, a lot of times you know, if I've got a resistance value, if I'm working on an ohm meter or something, and I need an exact replacement of a resistor that's gone out of spec, and a lot of times they're really weird values, like, you know, 936 ohms. The nice thing with this one is you can choose and say, I know what what the final value is, 936 ohms. I have a 300 ohm resistor. Show me what it is, or I can go in and say, show me all the possibilities, and it'll break down and show you all the bunch of combinations so you can work in and get closer. Something like that can be really helpful. They have SMD resistor calculators that you can scan your SMD resistors, the surface mount resistors, and it'll tell you what they are. You know, I mentioned the parallel resistances. obviously there's lots of different unit converters and calculators and decimal meters, and there's ohm laws calculators out there. I'm going to show some more stuff here in a minute, but there's one in Android called OGT View. And what this does is allow you to connect USB cameras to your screen. I'm sure Apple has something similar. It might even be called the same. There may even be a better one on Android. I've just used OTG View, but it allows you to connect cameras. Like here's an endoscope, with a long cable. I can just, and I'll show all of these in more detail, but I can just connect this on my USB, and then I can run like a fish down into anything. I also have like one of these little microscope things. And I'll show both of these in more detail, but with OTG or OGT, I can just connect those to my phone and use my phone that way. And there's a lot of other add-ons, as an example, the endoscope. Here's the little microscope camera. You can have things that will do IR for you, or a thermal view. They've got thermal cameras you could plug in. There's all kinds of magnifiers that you can put on, to improve your viewing. There's lots of different add-ons to put on your camera. And a lot of times these things are relatively inexpensive. And then let's see. And then here's a way of measuring frequency response using your smartphone. I added a link to that. Another one I wanted to point out real quick that I ended up using this weekend was to checking a phone charger and cables. On Android, there's one called Charger Check. And I had a USB that was not charging correctly. And so I plugged it on there, and it was supposed to be a 2-amp charger. And sure enough, I was only getting like a quarter of an amp out. And so I knew that the thing was bad. So that's kind of a nice way to do that. You can also check your charging cables if it's if you think you're running one that has supports high voltage and it doesn't, you'll be able to see that it's not passing the proper voltage in. So that's about all I have. And then let me show you. Let me go back and share again. Sorry. What I was going to show here was, here's one of those USB to RCA audio cables. This one's like $17 on Amazon. There's all different kinds. You can read all the specs and get confused about, do I need 32-bit or 16-bit or who cares? It's, and then here's like the little endoscope thing I was showing you, where you can stick it down inside of something. It's kind of cool. Mine has this too. It's got the little thumb wheel here where it's got a light at the end so you can light it as you go in. The biggest problem I have with endoscopes, I don't know if you guys have used them. Maybe we've got some medical people here that think I'm stupid, but I always have problems getting the orientation right. If everything's either upside down or sideways, and I can never figure out what it is I'm actually looking at. Everything looks screwed up to me, but it's still been useful at times. And this one's only like $20 for something like that.
Yep. I have one of those. I wish it had a little dot at the top or something.
So you have the same problem I do?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. So it's not just me being stupid.
Yeah, try to check a pipe out with it sometime.
Oh yeah. So
like which way's up?
Yeah.
I actually dropped a screw down in a bathtub drain, and I thought, I kept trying to fish it and I couldn't get it. I put a magnet, I couldn't get it. And so I tried the little endoscope, and I never did see it. I finally got it out, but it wasn't because of the endoscope, because I kept going over the screw and I was so confused. Am I looking up and down? Oh God, I hated it. But they have been useful at times, but it didn't help me find the screw. These things are actually really good. I picked one up at an estate sale. That's the one I've got here. And I think I only paid like $5 for it. And doggone if it doesn't really work well. It's a darn amazing, good little camera. Actually, let me see. I'm going to pull out my other one. And if I plug this one in and I go to my videos, you guys able to see? Yeah, you can see that. So, focus. I must have it upside. Let me turn it upside down, which I think will be right. Ah, now it's working the way I expect it. Is the video reversed or is it just what I'm seeing?
Yep, Singapore. I couldn't read it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get closer and closer here.
There we go. Nice and sharp.
Pretty cool.
But that's just showing the top of this chip that I can't seem to get back in focus.
Focal length on that's pretty, or the depth of field or whatever it's called is pretty narrow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a small little chip, but let's see, go back to,
Do you have much light on it, Mike?
this one actually has a,
It's a light.
a light that I can change. I can increase or decrease the brightness. Let's see if you can. Oh, I turned my video off now, of course. Yeah, it's got a little adjustment here that I can change how much light is coming out of the top of this. But yeah, for really cheap, they work really good. The one I got I got it for $5 because this was broken on it, so I had to 3D print a new one. Fortunately, I could do that. Now I'm back and running. But yeah, stuff like that. If you don't have a really fancy microscope or something, these work really well. And it's a great way to be able to do inspections and things like that. My biggest problem is, again, same as with the endoscope, having the direction going the right way and holding it steady enough and stuff like that. But that's all I have. And I think the only disagreement is if we were actually seeing 120 hertz or not. But so that's not too bad.
I use Measure too a lot on mine, where you can just point at a certain part and you can measure all kinds of things with it. It's like your own little measuring tape. You just put the dot on it and push the button and then bring it down and then push it again. It comes.
I've never done that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's called Measure.
Does it seem to be pretty accurate?
Yeah, it's amazingly accurate.
Wow.
To the tenth of an inch or something like that. So
what is it using for the measurement?
Well, that's interesting. I think it's triangulating from your phone to wherever you're pointing it out, and it kind of can censor that. So, I mean, I use it a lot, like when I'm helping people with wheelchairs. If I want to measure the distance, see what size the wheelchair seat is, I can just, from my wheelchair, I can just measure it across just by pointing at one and going to the other. And I just need it to be within an inch on that. I mean, I don't know how accurate down to, but it's down to like 1/10 of an inch is what it says. But I use that all the time.
Yeah, I got a tape measure that does the same thing. Got the old Pynchon one here too, which I don't know how
Yes,
to
but
use.
is your
But
tape
it
measure
also has
charged?
Play on there, and I can just hold it up to the wall.
Yeah, and then move it.
It's actually very accurate. I've measured it with the tape and the whatever ultrasonic, or I don't think it's ultrasonic. It's probably laser focus or something. I don't know.
They thought you were making a joke there, Mike, that you had a tape measure.
Well, I do use it all the time.
Yeah.
But it also has
Yeah,
Out
it's
of
got
the-
a screen
Yeah,
on it.
has the digital
it's
one.
got
Yeah.
a display on the top that actually I just pointed at the wall, and it tells me how far it is to the wall.
And you don't even have to pull out your tape measure. I mean, you have a tape measure.
No, I'm just old fashioned. I have to have both of them. You know.
Uh, because the other one's probably not charged, right?
Well, there's that.
But your phone is always charged, so
Well, sometimes.
Has anybody else used other your phone in other ways to help in doing repair or work? You know, they make phone calls and stuff too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty nice.
But they're rarely do that anymore.
you want to kind of avoid those, though. Most of the time, they're trying to sell you something, right?
Exactly.
Nobody calls me anymore unless it's emergency or they try to sell you something. Everything is text for me.
Yeah, the nice features on the phones where it automatically goes to voicemail unless it's somebody in your
Yeah,
contact manager, and all those things are handy to use.
and you can screen the voicemail too as you in real time. So if they say, "Hey, pick up,"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
It's
use
just Mike again. I don't want to talk to him.
that.
exactly. Well, that was cool, Mike. There's a lot of things I want to try now too. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get
Yeah, I
some.
was downloading apps as we went tonight. I got a couple of new ones on there. So
Yeah, you know, I found that the one I'm using quite a bit is just testing fuses. My gosh, it's so easy. I usually got my phone in my hand anyway, and I can just kind of push it. And
yeah,
I didn't believe it would work when I saw that on the YouTube video. I thought, no way, but it does.
How much memory has your phone got, Mike?
What's that?
How much memory do you use up on your phone, and how much memory do you have in your phone?
You know, I've not had a problem with that. I've never really even looked. I have no idea.
We got 16 gigabytes, and we only got 2 free.
Oh,
yeah. My entire cloud memory is full of pictures of the insides of radios,
yep.
and
You
then
can
one when
use
I'm done with the radio, but that's it. Yeah.
if you have Amazon Prime, you can use their storage system. It's free basically, and it's unlimited storage. Videos cost, but and I think they give you like 5 gigs of video, which is nothing. But all your pictures can be stored on there, and then you can bring them back. So
Yeah,
that's
that's the problem though, Franklin, because that's what we do, but it shows up on our Echo shows all the time. You know, I've got all of these pictures, you know, constantly showing up, going, "Oh, look at these resistors." You know, this is my family of parts.
Yeah, exactly. You
Well,
can
what-
reminisce. So, oh, I fixed that one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. There you go.
My wife shows people pictures of the grandkids, and I show people pictures of radios and the insides of radios.
yeah. Here's a capacitor that was shorted. That was really cool.
Yeah. Look at this one blew up. Here, look at this one.
Yeah.
Caught on
I'm
fire.
deleting as we speak. I realized all the stuff I worked on today, I'm deleting right now. Oh, there's one of my granddaughter. Oh, I have to keep that one. I got one.
You got one.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, I thought this would be interesting. I was hoping to hear more people with stuff. And for you, Myron, I'm going to actually do a DC light bulb and try the same thing. I'll report back.
I think he left. I think he left, didn't he?
He might have been disgusted with me.
No, Myron's always curious about things, so that's great.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Great.
to be honest, I was skeptical too. I spent quite a bit of time going, is this really working? And when I went through and calculated all the numbers, it seemed like it was. I didn't have a way of changing the frequency on an incandescent bulb easily, because I'd love to have done that and seen, seen the flash change.
It's got to be pretty fast though, right? Because it stays warm, right? It still stays heat, so
Yeah,
it still stays bright. It
I
doesn't-
never saw it go. I never saw it go completely dark. Right, the lamp would just. I could see it slightly dim and then come back, and I thought, well, that's probably exactly what it's doing.
And you using it at halftime or on your phone?
What's that?
We're using the slow motion at halftime, 0.5.
I was using the slow motion at the 240 frames per second,
Okay.
and if you calculate all that out, it should detect it. And by the frame count I was seeing it where it dimmed, it seemed to line up with 120.
Cool.
But it's really useful looking at mechanical stuff.
Yeah, really, where you would need to look at a light bulb. So, I mean,
Right. Let me
It's- just out of curiosity, though, right? That's something.
Well, one thing I wanted to do that I didn't get a chance to was try it on one of the chopper circuits, one of the light bulb dimmers, and put an incandescent bulb on it with the chopper circuit, because I think there you're going to see the off time much better.
Mm. Yeah, because that's varying part of the cycle, isn't it?
What it's actually doing is it's not it actually turns the let's see, I've got a picture of it here if you want to wait just 1 second.
Did you measure something, Brian, on your iPhone? Is that what you're doing?
I was trying to slow motion.
Oh, you're trying to slow motion on your incandescent bulb.
Yeah. Well, it's actually an LED, so
Oh, well,
but that's probably flickering at some high frequency.
Or may not even be flickering.
Yeah, or it may not be flickering. I don't know.
Let's see. I've got a presentation that explains all of that. I'm trying to find it here. There we go. Share. So what most of the lamp dimmers do, you've got your AC in, and then what it's doing is it's literally just chopping off part of the AC.
Just a triac or something turning off and on.
Exactly. That's all it is. And so you don't see it's not like it's changing the frequency or lowering the amplitude or anything like that. It's just reducing the on time.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the the response. When it's glowing white hot like that, what is the response time for it to actually dim?
Right. And it does dim a little. That you'll see a little bit of dimming as it goes down to, there's a lot of times where it's decreasing. And again, with the camera, I never saw it go dark. In fact, I couldn't really even see it when I had the Variac all the way up. I had to turn it down to about 30% or so, and that seemed to be enough to where I could start detecting it. Because otherwise, I think it just didn't cool enough or reduce enough to actually see it. But once I dimmed it down, then it seemed to work.
That was a Variac, not a dimmer.
Right. I was using a Variac. I wanted to do this,
Well,
but I didn't get a chance to do this one yet.
mhm.
But this is also why LEDs don't work
Don't
very
dim.
well. I don't know if you've ever seen what's inside of an LED. Of course, I've taken them apart. There's a whole crap load of electronics inside these things.
Hmm.
And, you know, when you start, it's expected to use something like this. And when you start putting this in, you know, the electronics just starts falling apart. You had a comment, Brian?
I said, who hasn't?
Oh, yeah, there you go. I think this is the kind of a group that you would expect everyone to have
Yes.
taken at least one
Uh-huh.
LP apart.
Exactly.
Well, that's all I have.
Well, awesome. Thanks, Mike.
For sure.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
I was going to ask you about the clock that you did, Mike. Have you taken the guts out of those little tiny clock things? Is that just a little small timer, like a 555 or something in there?
Oh
That-
no, I've taken them apart. What it is, it's just it's a coil with a crystal in it, and the coil is enough with, you know, battery operated. It just keeps sending a pulse out.
At a 1 second pulse, or is it adjustable?
I think it's faster than that.
And then it's geared down with the.
Yeah, and then it's geared down. There's like 5 gears in them.
Hmm.
I might have one taken apart around here somewhere. I think I threw it away. I literally I did have one sitting here not too long ago apart because I was trying to get it working. I've repaired them. I had a clock I had to repair for a lady that it was just one of those basic, you know, quartz movements. But the problem with it was the way it fit into the clock. I could not just put a generic one in. And so I had to go in and try to fix it. And actually, the coil had a broken wire on it. I was able to resolder it, but that was a lot more work than it was really worth.
Mhm.
Yeah, the clock mechanisms. There's a little tiny chip, and there's a coil, and there's a quartz crystal.
So the quartz crystal is doing the timing.
I believe so, yeah. And then they've
Okay.
got a little chip. It's kind of like a 555 type thing, but it's a specialty one. And you can't replace the chip or anything because they're always sealed, you know, with it's a little tiny speck with an epoxy mold over them.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a little epoxy mold over the whole chip. But
Yeah.
so, what is the chip doing then?
I think that, you know, that's in combination with the crystal to create the proper frequency.
Oh, okay.
Probably an amplifier.
You know, the whole thing is really, I mean, it uses
Really simple.
almost no current.
Yeah. It's really simple too, isn't
Is
it?
it like an oscillator that clocks down and gives a pulse every, you know, like you said, 1 second, but it's maybe oscillating at
Uh,
5,000 hertz or something like that?
Isn't the chip used for? I mean, the quartz used for that to oscillate? Or am I-
yeah, I
Yeah.
think
But would it be a low frequency oscillation with the quartz crystal?
um let's see if we can there's
Where's Myron when you need him?
Scared him away.
let me see if I can
I'm gonna
yeah.
ask that Chat GPT guy.
Though if you notice, the one thing I did not put in my presentation was anything about AI. Yeah, so they've got this little quartz oscillator here, and then there's a little chip, and then it goes to this little tiny coil here that has the magnet, and that causes this to move.
And that's basically the motor, right? So the
Yep.
oscillator is the quartz. So the quartz is oscillating the electrical pulse, and then I just don't know what the microprocessor would be doing.
So this
I believe it.
probably
Go ahead.
very high frequency, and the microprocessor is just a counter.
Yeah,
Like a timer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and then that sends I believe it's the micro, they call it a microprocessor in this slide, but I think it's there to send a little pulse through this coil. And it's a very, very small pulse that causes this motor to spin, and then it's geared up for everything else to work.
Yep.
I mean, there's really not much to it. Quite often when they go bad, you'll either get, if you get some friction in here, it's not going to work, or if one of the wires of the coil breaks.
Pretty amazing, that they can do that with. Can
Oh,
consider
yeah.
what timepieces were like in the past, right? I mean, when
Exactly.
you had a spring in there that you had to, and then you had different kinds of ways of, and little sapphire bearings so that they would actually work correctly, because otherwise they would get gummed up, and pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love clocks. I actually picked up not too long ago a golden hand clock. Have you seen those? It's the one where you can't see the hands are just like on glass and they move around.
Oh,
Brian's got something here.
Do you have a death clock?
I do not.
Oh, really?
But
I did-
crystal is very high frequency. So
Oh, yeah.
the
32.
the quote processor is just a large counter to get the second pulses or whatever the gear ratio needs.
For me, the thing I love is old mechanical stuff and how they could make things work, with the technology of the day. And one thing I've got into recently also is toasters. And actually got one here. I just got it cleaned up and working. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before.
Mm-mm.
It's called a toastolator. And what it is there's a conveyor belt that runs. So you put your toast on one side and a conveyor belt runs and drags your toast over the heating elements, and then that falls out the other side. This was made back in the 50s. And they do it with there's a motor down in here that's turning like this. And then they have teeth up here that are just kind of going like this, constantly grabbing the toast and picking it up and moving it.
Do they have a butterizer on the other end?
What's that?
Do they have a butterizer on the other end?
Oh, no, but that's the advanced model. I didn't get that one.
Who made that?
The company's name was Toastolator.
Postulator. Crazy.
Yeah, we saw that at an estate sale for $5, and I go, oh my God, I got to get it. So I took it apart and saw how it worked, got it all cleaned up, and it actually makes toast really good. And it's very smooth, consistent toast, because it's going across, your toast is going across the element all the way across. So, it toasts very evenly, which is really cool. Then I picked up one of those Sunbeam elevator toasters, and I just love those. That's just so phenomenal how they work.
Yeah, I have one, but it's the heating element is broken.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Yeah, just solder those together, can you?
no,
No.
you can sometimes twist them together
Yeah.
and get them to work. If you want to try to get that going, I think I know someone that can help you.
Okay.
He has elements and stuff. I'll look and see.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let me know what model it is. If it's the, what is it, Model 20 or the later one, the T20, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't remember what mine is, but it's one of the earlier versions.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, the Sunbeam, what is it called, the Radiant toaster.
Radiant control toaster.
Yeah, Radiant
Yeah.
control. You put the toast in, and then it automatically goes down, and then it automatically comes back up. And it works by, as the heating element heats and changes the length of the heating element, it squeezes or pulls the mechanism, which allows the toast to rise. So it's all done based on the heating elements changing dimension as it heats and cools.
Hmm.
Isn't that awesome?
That's something.
Yeah, it just uses the thermal expansion of the heating element to and some levers to do all the movement. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I love.
Mhm.
I always try to find those, and then I take them all apart and see how they work, and I'm amazed, and then I've got to get rid of it afterwards.
Well, hey, I gotta leave. Thanks a lot, Mike. That was
Okay,
very informative and fun
I'm
too.
glad it was useful at least to one person. That's awesome.
It was great, Mike.
It was
Thank you so
useful
much.
to me too.
See you guys Saturday.
All right.
We'll see ya.
See ya.
Night all.
Good night.
Good night. Bye, everybody.